So today, guys, we're just coming together to talk about building out the network, how we can frame and curate the community inside. Because inside of Investor Syndicate, we know that we have the tools to help empower people with what they need to win, right? But we really need to figure out how can we add more value? How can we add more value and lead more people inside of the space so that they can, one, feel comfortable inside of the community, right? You don't have to be a high-level investor that's, helicopter brain and you understand these high-end strategies. Like, truth of the matter is we have everything at our fingertips.
As a matter of fact, that's the reason why that drew me to Investor Syndicate, is because when you're new and you're starting out, it's like you need to be around the people who are doing it. You know what I mean? Tony Robbins always says success leaves clues. So it's like getting around those people who are doing what you want to do, and learning from them, and then applying it, and just that mastermind principle that I hear you talk about a lot. Napoleon Hill even talks about it in his books.
Huge.
It's the mastermind principle, and the more minds that come together, the more you can reap.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost biblical, right? Yeah. When two or more are gathered,
even say that,
I'm in the midst, right? And that's, in simplest form, that's the mastermind.
Right, exactly.
So proximity is power, right? The network, the people that you surround yourself with is going to be directly correlated with your success, right? Where you're at in life, and even your beliefs, right? What do you believe is possible? What do you believe is true?
It's funny, man. It takes me back to that whole quote. And when I did the Jones Zone with my brother Chris, we did a podcast. Remember, you were on there.
Yeah.
I would always joke that I came up with that whole, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But that's true, man. It's like who you're hanging out with determines what you believe, like it or not, conscious or not, or subconscious. Like hanging out with the people who are going to hype you up, tell you what you need to do, help you become the best version of yourself. It's critical, especially in the times we're in now.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just like get into your own routine and neglect everything else. You go to your job or whatever, and then you just go home, turn on the news, and then you're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Being around people who are doing what you want to do, I'm going to keep saying that, but it's key to growth. If you're not growing, you're dying. Straight
up, right? And it's just understanding cycles and patterns, right? Because looking at your routine, everything is habitual, right? Every routine that we do, I guarantee you 80 to 90% of everything that you do every single day, it repeats itself, right? It's the same thing because you've ingrained these patterns and routines into your life.
Exactly.
Right? And if you're not surrounding yourself with that core group of people, that inner circle, right, that you can lean in, that you know is going to challenge your limits, that's going to help you exceed to that next level in growth, then just like you said, you're going to be digressing. Right. You're going to be dying, right?
And especially in a field like real estate investing or cryptocurrency, where real estate, things go wrong.
Yeah.
Things go wrong. And it's like, when things go wrong, what do you do? How do you react to it? And having a network who have experienced that can give you feedback, can give you advice on how to handle that, keep deals going. That 100%. Way they're not dead in the water. When I was a real estate agent, no deals are the same. No 2 exact deals are the same. So when something goes wrong, how do you handle it, and then how do you try to save it?
That's huge.
And if you're trying to do this on your own, it's daunting, man. It's like, man, I can't do this. And you start to tell yourself these things, and you start to believe it, and then before you know it, you give up. So it's like, if you're going to try this, kudos to you for trying to get out there. And it's like, but come with the people like-minded who can help you elevate together. Because it's not like, it's a lonely game if you try to do it by yourself. And
Bro,
it's hard, man.
It's a lonely game, period.
Period.
Even at the top, right? You're trying to do this, you're crushing life, but you're freaking alone. I'm glad you said that, bro, because as human beings, we're created for community.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you don't have that, especially in the early stages of an entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, beautiful thing in the space, we got masterminds, you got groups, communities like this, that people can come together, share ideas, and help you level up. But when you're just on that hamster wheel and you're spinning, hustling towards that next deal, there's no accountability, but 2, there's really no community to connect with, right?
The connection is so important. I understand.
That's huge, man. So if you were, back to where you were going with this, if you were a brand new investor, what's the best piece of advice that you could give somebody starting out?
Find a group to be with. Really, I would say I would find a group to partner with, and to learn from and to provide value to as well. Because I mean, if you're brand new, you need to learn, and you're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna need advice from people. You know, it's that would be my advice, is to find a group of people to partner with.
Yeah.
And really.
So almost like a mentor in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But mentor or a community, right?
Community.
A community of mentors, accountability partners, if you will, right?
Right.
I mean, dude, business partners, people
Business
you can do
partners,
business with.
Exactly.
You can structure deals.
And especially in the real estate investing world, like, because I come from the real estate, I was an agent.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of competition. So it's for me personally, I had to flip that mindset of another agent that's competition to where now real estate investors work together. There's a lot
They do.
So there's
Most of them.
Most of them work together. So because there's always deals going on, there's wholesaling, and you need to have that community. And also, you know, working on the cash buyers list and marketing. You know, if you want to learn how to do marketing, because if you're an investor, essentially, you know, you want to be a marketer, so you can have the product that the cash buy. If you're wholesaling, you know, you want to be a marketer, so that way you can acquire the product. You know how to acquire the product. That way, the cash buyers come to you, and you can, you know, deal them out whatever their criteria is, and go about it that way.
It's incredible how, in the process of building a business, right, starting wholesaling, starting investing, starting your agency career, you end up shaping and molding into so many different forms, right? Well, one, you have to wear so many different hats. Yeah. You got your marketing hat. You got your you know, legal. You got to make sure that you got the bases covered with your contracts and everything else.
And that's another reason why you don't want to do it alone. You know, you got to have,
So finding your superpower, right? I mean, instead of focusing on all these things that, one, you're not good at, two, they make you feel like you're dying inside, right? Because when I'm on the computer going through Excel spreadsheets or trying to put together like sales copy, bro, literally like, I could tell in my posture, bro. I just stiffen up, my back tightens.
Your breath gets short.
Bro, I feel like I'm dying inside, literally.
There's things that do that to me as well, basically. And so it's like finding somebody who can do that for you, you know. But that's obviously later, you know. Yeah. But there are things where no matter what I do and what kind of work I'm in, there are things that make me kind of like, oh God, I gotta do this. Let me muscle through it. Let me push through it. Yeah.
So let's look at the bigger picture, right? Like macro world economy. You know, I think it doesn't matter what your profession is, what your beliefs are, your political views, anything. We all sense that there's a shifting, right? Something's shifting in the bigger picture of things, right? A lot of things don't make sense. There's a lot of tension and dissension between, you know, different parties and beliefs and everything else. But I think the one underlying factor is that there's a deep-rooted cause, right? There's a shifting, right? And if you want to look at it like from a cyclical or economic perspective, it's, you know, a market shift, a market cycle, right? But it's more deep-rooted than that. But one of the favorite quotes that I've really been leaning into over the past 2 months, man, and just like going over it, dissecting it, trying to figure out how I can take this, right, and pivot to make sure that I'm on the other side of this shift, right? So I can play like a chess master and be 5 to 10 moves ahead instead of playing a game of checkers.
Right.
But it's a quote that says this: it's in times of change, learners will inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists.
Ah, yes.
Dude, it's heavy.
Got to be willing to adapt and change.
Have to.
Yeah.
Adapt or die, dude. Adapt or die.
And it's happening so fast. Technology is growing at an exponential rate, and it's hard to keep up. So and that's the thing. I like that quote because there's going to be so many people who get overwhelmed at the mere thought of trying to learn about cryptocurrency. They're trying to learn about blockchain, and they're just going to get overwhelmed and not apply.
Not do anything.
Not even try to learn, not try to push through it.
You build a wall up.
And that's a dangerous game that you want to play. That's a dangerous game because the second half of that quote, you're going to be left behind in a world that no longer exists.
What do you do when the robots replace you or your job?
And that's, I mean, I read this somewhere, or it was on a podcast. I forget which podcast. I can't give credit to it, unfortunately. But it's not me saying this. There's a set point, they call it, like an origination set point, that by, they said 2045, humans won't be able to keep up with the changes of artificial intelligence. So basically, what it was saying is robots are going to be smarter than humans.
Yeah.
Because we won't be able to keep up with the exponential change that's happening.
And it's programmed through the media and a lot of different things. Like, think about the metaverse, right? Since we are blockchain and crypto enthusiasts, we see it as an emerging market.
Right.
Huge opportunity grab there, right? But with metaverse, for example, they're currently creating a 3D, 100% virtual world somewhere in the cloud, right? That you can just put on these Oculus headset or whatever, and tap in and feel like you're going through life in real time, right? And if
Ready
you look,
Player One,
Ready Player One type of mindset. If you guys haven't watched that video, check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But where is that leading society, right? It's taking us out of reality, kind of losing grasp of like what's really here, being present, right? And it's putting us somewhere in the cloud. And I mean, the best way that I can really put it together is think about the Matrix, man. Like you're literally a cyborg, right? Plugging into the Matrix, where your brains, your thoughts, your beliefs, all of it just becomes so like controlled by what you're immersing yourself in, right? And it's happening, like you said, so quickly, right? And we're falling into it. Like everyone's super excited about the metaverse.
Right.
I mean, I'll buy some land in the metaverse because it's an opportunity, right? But we're losing the being present with one another, right? We're losing that personal, in-touch community aspect because we're just going further into this rabbit hole, man, into the Matrix.
The days are going by so fast.
So fast.
So fast. It's crazy.
So, yeah, that's deep, man. So again, major opportunity for investors.
Major opportunity.
But where does that leave us here, like in the real world?
You know, the more we tap into the metaverse, it's almost like we are losing a sense of the real world, you know? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know where it takes us in 5 to 10 years from now.
Think about this. Here's some food for thought. So most businesses and organizations, they have some type of a product. Right? So for example, Investor Syndicate, we have the Inner Circle community. We help investors grow and learn. But think about like social media environments. Think about Facebook, Instagram, where they're not selling you anything. Literally, you can log onto their platform, and you can use it. You can set up your profile and use it every single day, interacting with people across the world, which it has connected people on so many different levels. It's accelerated our business.
Right.
But when the business, the organization doesn't have the product, I heard something the other day that it's human beings. We have become the product. Right, of this machine, of this organism, this technological age.
Big data.
It's big data, right? Where it's not the product, but it's the people. Like we're now the product, right? Where again, you're tapping into this alternate reality, this environment, like it or not, right? And of course, we're chasing likes and chasing comments and followers. You know, looking at other people's social medias, trying to find that highlight reel, right? Like we see these hallmark moments. And dude, what it does to like our brain, bro. Like
it's there's a huge depression. Like people are depressed at like a record rate right now, and there have been studies showing that social media has a large influence over that. Is because when you're scrolling and you're seeing, oh man, these people, all they do is win. All they do is win. How come I'm not winning? And you scroll, and then you just feel
depressed.
You depressed. And your self-worth is tied into all these external validations, and when they're not met, your self-worth isn't there.
You start to shut down. Right.
Which that leads me to like, this is off topic.
Yeah.
But have you read The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra?
I have not.
So, I bring that up because it ties into what we're talking about, and so this is where. The first law of the 7 spiritual laws of success is the law of pure potentiality. This is Deepak Chopra. He wrote this book. In that first law, the law of pure potentiality, there's the self-object referral point, and then there's the self-object referral point, and then And
you can roll with it.
Yeah. So this is where you know that the power comes from within you. All right. So this is the self-referral. There's two. There's self-referral and then there's object referral. So there's
self-referral.
Right, and then there's object referral. So these are set points. So the self-referral point, ties into the social media, is when you place your power on external things. Like, how many deals can I close? What's my position? Am I a CEO? How much money do I make? All right, that's object referral, excuse me. And then, so that's where you put it on other things. You get your power from external validations. So if if you lose your job, your power's taken away. If you're scrolling social media and you place your power on likes, how many followers you have, and you only have 300, and then everybody you follow has 10 million, and you place your value, you place your worth on external forces, they can be taken away at any moment, and now you're left with no power. You're left with feeling empty. So the self-referral point is the opposite. So it's like where you find your power within you.
Yeah.
And nobody can take that away. It's free of ego. Your ego is not there. So nobody can take that power away from you.
You're self-aware, right, at the rawest core of it.
Yes, and then you're full of love. You're full of energy. You're inspired. So if you can go from here, where it's all ego rooted out of fear, rooted out of insecurities, insufficiency, and through meditate, whatever way he recommends meditation.
Meditation's huge.
In nature, learning how to go from object referral point to the self-referral point, where you realize that the power is inside you. Nobody can take that away from you. So macro, looking back, grand scale things, as a society, this is hard, but what if we can go from object referral as a society to self-referral? So we can do that. You can do that. People watching, you can do that. You just got to know.
Bridge the gaps.
Bridge the gap.
How do we build a bridge?
Meditation, realizing that your power doesn't come from external sources. It comes from within you, from God.
That's huge.
Yeah,
dude,
man.
Meditation is huge. That's probably one of the most foundational daily mindset routines that I have to do.
Yeah.
Like, perfect example. Dude, I didn't get my meditation in today.
I didn't either.
And I pulled up to the office. You could just tell, like, my mind wasn't operating its full potential. Yeah. We got in the flow now, right? So we're smashing it out. But I feel it when I don't meditate, bro.
Yeah, I'm the same
clarity of mind.
I'm the same way. And for me, it's really getting centered, because I'm ADHD. I got diagnosed. But if I don't meditate, I'm scattered. Even if I do meditate, it's still scattered sometimes, but it helps my getting centered.
100%.
And like, all right, setting the intention for the day. It's like, all right, so now instead of just rushing out, because that's all we do. We're all rushing. Everybody's rushing. It's a fast world. But it's like, all right, we can slow down. We can slow down a couple minutes a day. It doesn't take. You don't have to meditate for hours. I mean, we're not Buddhist monks here. We know, but meditation, even if it's 5 minutes twice a day, I mean, you owe it to yourself.
Yeah. And with the meditation, the clarity of thought that it brings you, right? So just think of it like a canvas, right? And your canvas, every single day you're full of all these different colors and ideas and conversations and agendas and everything just splattered on there, right? Cool piece of artwork, like tons of high-level stuff going on upstairs in the canvas of your mind, right? But if you're able to clear that canvas at the beginning of each day, right, where you can just focus and just view life a little bit clearer.
Yeah, visualize how you want your day to go.
Then literally you can just, perfect, visualize, right? Yeah. That's a piece of meditation, right? Picture your life like the ideal, perfect type of scenario, perfect setup in your life, right? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And when you can visualize it in such a strong picture, right, it gives the subconscious part of your brain, right? It gives that orders, if you will, right? The conscious brain is reactive, where the subconscious brain receives commands from the conscious. But we're so caught up listening to all these other agendas, right, that it draws confusion. And I'm convinced that's the reason that most people don't succeed and don't accomplish what they want in life. There's no clarity.
No clarity,
right? So what if you could just clear your mind, start off on a blank canvas each day, right?
Yeah.
And identify that one thing, bro. The one single activity that if I accomplish this today, right, would either make all the next priorities and activities much easier to handle, or completely topple over some of those dominoes, right? That's the Gary Keller, the one thing principle, right?
Right, yeah.
But dude, it brings that clarity. Most of us, we don't know what we need to focus on, especially as entrepreneurs, especially as investors, because we're so caught up in this hustle and bustle.
Yeah, right.
You never come off of the hamster wheel to get clarity of thought and think, what if I just did this, this one thing, right?
Right.
One system, one automation, or whatever it might be that's going to make everything else easier.
And that works for not just business, but in personal life, relationships, it's visualizing. They all tie together.
Yep.
So and that's what all successful people talk about. Not all talk about, but one common thing they have in common is they meditate.
Yeah.
And they take the times out for themselves to visualize how they want their day to go, how their lives to go, and success leaves clues.
Yeah. So our goal, right? How do we bridge this? And I see this as like a common theme in a lot of the conversations. A lot of the things that we're building internally is like we're connected in so many levels, but we're disconnected at the core. So how do we bridge the gap, right? How do we bring that connectivity through community,
Yep.
but also give people applicable tools that they need to, one, get clarity in their life, and two, make smart financial, investment, business, real estate decisions to help to push that ball forward.
I think bridging the gap from going from object referral to self-referral is awareness. Because I think a lot of people don't even realize the power that they have inside.
Yeah.
They've been told, no, you can't do this since we're 4 years old, 5 years old, sitting in school, just sitting there being told no all the time. And like, it depends on their environment too, but I think being aware that you do have power inside you, God-given power inside of you to accomplish what you want to do. It's leveraging that. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, what we were both saying, that the mastermind community, get around people who are going to lift you up and empower you. Doing it yourself as well, just really getting around that mastermind community. And the tools, man, we got the tools. Tools are out there. It's applying it. And once you're aware, once you start applying it, that's when the change happens, and doing it consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel there's a big disconnect with, education and application, right?
Yeah, we get addicted to learning.
We do.
And I'm guilty of it as well, because you can learn all you want. That's the fun part. And learning, I'm excited. Okay, now it's time to take what you've learned and apply it. And it's like, there's a new shiny object.
Because we're caught up on perfectionism, right?
Yeah.
You want to have it perfect before you ever get started. And that's one of the biggest barriers to success, right? We're trying to perfectionism, right? We're trying to make sure we have a perfect formula, a perfect business strategy, right? We got the whole roadmap before we get started.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, the biggest accomplishments in my life, man, have just been from taking massive, imperfect action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail.
The founder of LinkedIn said that if you launch the perfect product, you waited too long to launch.
Yep.
So, imperfect action trumps perfection.
Dude, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, most successful people understand that they don't have it all figured out. In fact, they don't have almost anything figured out, dude. Like, put yourself in the seat of like Steve Jobs or Richard Branson, CEO of Virgin Airlines, right? Multiple billion-dollar companies. Dude, those dudes, as far as their application, their integrator skills, like, dude, they probably don't have a whole lot of skills.
Right.
They're just really good at thinking on that higher plane, like 30,000 feet above the business. How do I find the right person, right? And that goes back to, is it Dan Kennedy's book, Who Not How?
I don't think it's Dan Kennedy. I don't think that was Dan Kennedy. I know what book you were talking about.
Who Not How, right? So instead of feeling like you yourself have to be in that driver's seat, right? That you have to.
How am I going to get this done?
You got to build the website, and oh crap, I gotta book
now?
this, and I gotta make these sales calls and this and that. Instead of feeling like you have to be in that driver's seat, find somebody, right? Find that perfect person, someone that has a better skill set than you, a fuller understanding of that technology or that role, and you put them in that seat.
Yeah.
That simple. But yeah, massive imperfect action. So all in all, right, our goal is just to stand in the gap. How do we build this bridge? How do we empower more people? How do we curate a safe community where you can ask questions, right? Where you can get along with other people, that we know that our space, our ideas are protected.
Yeah.
that there's not a stupid question.
Because people are afraid to mess up and they don't want to look bad. So creating a safe space where people, hey, you got a question on this? No problem. What? How can I help you? Yeah. So being around those people, like-minded people who are gonna give you the tools, give you guidance, give you support, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. And even we talked about mentors earlier. I had a coach last year, and coaching is one of the best things you can do. Investing in yourself. So it's just coaching and mentorship, man, and then doing it, applying what you've learned.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I'll tell you what, we definitely don't have the whole thing figured out, but I'm glad that we've started, right? Because what this has bred, right? It's community, it's accountability, and it gives us, that structure, and we got the momentum coming into this new season. Where again, going back to the beginning of the conversation, in this changing world economy, right? Our goal is to stay ahead of that ball, right?
Yeah.
How do we not get caught up in the whirlwind and get sucked down by this typhoon, if you will, right?
Yeah.
How do we play ahead of that so that we're equipped and then we can bring the community with us?
Right.
That's it.
I like it.
Good stuff, guys. Hope you guys got something out of this talk, guys. There was a lot of rabbit holes and squirrel moments.
Yeah. That happens with me, man.
Yeah.
I go
dude,
holes.
I freaking love it, dude.
Yeah,
Me too. It's that type of thought, right? It's the creativity that happens inside of these discussions that help us to even realize along the way, like there's things that came up in this conversation that bring something alive, right? Inside of your spirit.
Absolutely.
So I love it, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro. Let's build.
That's that.